Switch styles. Switch styles. Take a second. Get your pausing in your head. You don't have to pause every word. Try one and then every two and then maybe three or one.
I felt really frustrated and sad. It seemed like it's not fair because I want to say things, but I can't.
Which one was more work for you?
Pausing.
So it's easier to just struggle with it.
Yeah.
That would be surprising to a lot. Is it surprising to you when you sort of think about it?
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I view speaking as like a privilege. It's like you've just finished this great obstacle course, and you can see the end. You can see the end. You can see how you're gonna get there. You can see it. It's there in front of you, and all of a sudden, there's a glass wall that you can't get by. First you panic, and then you try and hit it harder. After a few times you try to hit it harder, you realize that it's not going to work. And that's the time that when frustration sets in. It definitely has been a journey, and a long one. It's had its ups and downs, and when I started, it was my stuttering was pretty unbearable. It was bad. I had trouble speaking at all, and it's now gotten to the point that it was never really a huge factor in my life, except it's the least it ever has been.
Well, I was very concerned that Michael would not be a part of life because he was, as I saw it, not an effective communicator. He's led the way. He feels good about himself. He doesn't take himself out of life at all because of his stuttering. He doesn't hide behind it. He doesn't use it as an excuse for anything. And as his mom, I kind of follow that lead, because if he's going to be brave enough and courageous enough to do these things, then why should I worry? He frees me from the worry. Well, at the very beginning, I was very tormented about it because I felt very responsible for the fact that he stuttered. Because I learned afterwards that there is a genetic predisposition to this speech pattern. I did not have the great experience as a child that Michael had. Probably just because of the generation that I grew up in, people were a lot less tolerant than they are now.
Negative.
Oh, I was completely ostracized. I had parents whose kids wouldn't let them play with me because they thought the stuttering was catching. I had teachers who just pummeled me into the ground mentally, but as you can see, it didn't stop me from speaking.
Yeah.
I have my moments that nobody else knows about except for me. But I do things technique-wise that are not approved of these days,
Yeah.
like vocabulary switch if I know I'm going to have trouble with the sound. I don't think Michael realizes is that all these techniques that he's learned and skills that he's learned here have really become part of his speech pattern. I hear him like downshift. In my mind, I'm saying, Michael's downshifting. He's lowering his voice and slowing his pace. The things that I was afraid of when he was small have not happened. He does not let it stop him from doing anything. He's popular. He's the president of the freshman class. He has a girlfriend. He has many girls who want to be his girlfriend. He's got a lot of friends. He's a great brother, a great son. He's just a good person.
My journey was pretty dramatic. At the beginning, totally freaked out about the whole thing. Listening to Michael, my heart broke every single time, because I was putting my feelings in his head. I was thinking the way I was suffering, he was suffering. Apparently, I was the only one suffering there, and that became evident over the years. I realized, and somewhat what Cindy said, that Michael showed the way, that this is to him what, glasses are to other people, or, tall, short, fat, skinny are to other people, and that he was perfectly prepared to deal with it, whatever he had to do to deal with it. We talk about the bar mitzvah session.
That's what he should.
That was the, that was another whole thing, and that was the most amazing hour of my whole life. I realized then there was no doubt in my mind that Michael's success or failure in life had nothing to do with stuttering. Absolutely nothing. The goal, in my opinion, if I had to do it all again, to know earlier what I wanted, would be not that Michael would stop stuttering, but that Michael would be completely comfortable and completely at ease with whatever level of language he can master. The idea of stopping the stutter was the wrong idea, okay? Because Michael still stutters sometimes, and it doesn't, and it won't affect his life, okay? So if I would have had that perspective, I would have saved myself a lot of grief.
If you've already made that choice to not let it affect you, then I think you already have it beat. The closest I've ever come to taking the easy way out was in May. I had to choose if I was gonna run for senior class president. I would have to make a speech or graduation in front of about 5,000 people. I think the regret of not doing it would have outweighed anything that could possibly happen to me on that stage in June. If there's one thing I would tell any stutterer, it's that it's just, as I've been saying the whole time, if you're scared of doing something because of your stuttering, if you do it, it will be, no matter what it is, it will be extremely rewarding. I'll get discouraged.